Well, it's Friday and it's been bloody wet all day, and almost looked as though we were going to take the Steve's car up to the pub, but no, we're going to walk. It should be all right. But it has been incredibly wet for the last 48 hours. Even worse yesterday. Really came down in buckets. But at the moment, it's dry but threatening. I've got my umbrella on me and I might need it. I actually was able to book tickets to Vietnam via Bali at a reasonable price because I waited an extra day or so, although if I'd waited till today, there's actually a sale on for flights to Bali and I just missed out. But the thing is, if I'd taken up that offer, I would have had to have delayed my trip. So I paid a little extra, but not that much. I haven't saved that much on the flights really. So it's not a huge deal. It was a bit annoying when I saw it, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's all been organised. And I actually was also able to sell some shares today. It's been a long time, it's been a couple of months since I've sold shares, and finally the Grain Corp shares got to a price that I thought was reasonable. So I offloaded half of my holdings of that. So I've now got a bit more cash, which is good because it was really getting low and I was getting a little worried. So I was happy about that. So now I'm going to meet up with Steve and head off to the pub. Threatening the weather is this is from the beach house seats, looking out to the ocean. You can see it's pretty grey out there. Bit of clear sky there, but overall looking quite threatening. Oh, it's Monday. What, about 2 o'clock, I think. Now I'm going to head to 2:30 actually. It's later than I thought. Yeah, I'm heading to up to the shops just to get grog. Probably should get a prescription done as well, but I'm not particularly worried about that. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with the bike. Maybe when the weather cools down a little, I might get back on it. Or I might even sell the damn thing. If I don't use it, I might be able to get about $1,000 for it. Oh, we'll see, we'll see. But I'd rather not, because it's dropping a fair bit of dough, but yeah, it hasn't worked out exactly the way I was hoping. And someone actually asked me, can you get tricycles, electric tricycles? You certainly can. They're in kit form again, and they may require someone to actually help you assemble it. And that's probably one of the flies in the ointment up here, because I think all the electric bike mobs that can do that sort of stuff, they're down in Cairns itself. Although you might be able to get someone through Air Tasker to do it, or even my next door neighbour might be able to. But I think, yeah, a tricycle's more practical. It's less because you can take big loads on it. And yeah, I don't know. The bike, like I said, just because I don't feel steady on the bike, it's a high bike and a heavy bike, and it's just not used to that. So it doesn't feel brilliant. Oh, the other bike that I bought, the Kmart one, is so light. It's just unbelievable. But of course, it's hard work riding a bike manually from point A to point B, especially in summer. Yeah, there is a carbonation kit. There's a number of them around, and Kmart sell one, which is probably one of the cheapest. It's about $69, and it provides you with a carbonation, a CO2 cylinder that will make up to 60 litres of mineral water. Now the thing is, the actual cost of a bottle, a 1.25 bottle of the generic mineral water, sparkling mineral water from either Woolworths or Coles, is only $1. And so what's the crucial thing is to find out what the replacement cost is after that, because the first bottles you actually carbonate are going to cost you more than what you'd pay at the supermarket per litre. I worked it out. The replacement bottles are $35 for the CO2 cylinders. I worked out that it costs 80 cents a litre when you took a fifth off the cost of the 1.25 litres. It works out at 80 cents per litre, and with the carbonation kit, it works out at slightly more than 60 cents per litre. So it is cheaper, but I don't know whether it's worth it, because you've got to stuff around and actually carbonate your water yourself. You can't just have spare bottles on hand. You just got that one bottle you keep replenishing, and you've just got to continue on that process. And if there's a problem with the device, you might be high and dry anyway. So I don't know, it's a very marginal thing, working out the costs. I came up with a better solution. My neighbours have offered to pick me up a bulk supply of mineral water when they go to the supermarket, so it doesn't have to be even that regular, but just knowing occasionally they can replenish my supply, that'd be great, because I can only take, say, a couple of bottles on the bus, because I've got other stuff I want to buy as well. I'll be doing that tomorrow. So it's one of those items I really would love Coles to deliver, but they just don't seem to be interested. And it's fishy. I mean, you can't tell me that their shelves are empty of their basic sparkling mineral water every week. I don't believe that. Just passed by a dog walker. Pretty popular activity around here. Anyway, so that's the mineral water out of the way. Been doing a bit of research on Bali, because the plan is to stop at Bali for 4 days before I head off to Vietnam. And yeah, I think actually the Legian Beach is the area I'm going to be staying in. Legian Beach, Legian, which is just north of Kuta. And it seems like it's a pretty good spot, because there's a lot of restaurants around. There's also, what they have there is beach bars. So just locals set up these bars, and I think they sell, one of them is, I finally found a decent YouTube channel covering activities in Bali. Hard to find actually, because a lot of them are crap, you know. They just, well, I don't like them anyway. They've got music in the background, they're pitching to a much younger audience, of course, and I just want, you know, basic facts. And this guy, he's a young guy, but he just goes around and pointing out venues and talking to people like these beach bar vendors, just saying hello to them, asking how they're going, and it's just quite nice and relaxed. And what he did, so he showed a price list, and they charge 30,000 rupee for a bottle of bintang, which is their basic beer over there. It's fine, I've had it before, and I've got no problem with that. So that's quite reasonable, because 30,000 is actually less than $3, just marginally less, probably about $2.90. When you consider you can have a cold bottle of beer on the beach and watch the sunset, I reckon that's a pretty damn good deal. So I'm getting the feeling that the place I'm going to is going to be a lot more fun than Sanur, which is a bit quieter, older area. A lot of expats there, I think, but mine's more of a touristy area, and I think it'll be better. The accommodation I've booked has had very good reviews, and I'll do my own review of it. The only downside is, because it is in central part of the beach area, it's about 600 meters from the actual beach. There is some music apparently playing till about 11 at night. I don't think that's going to worry me much. And if it shuts down at 11, I think that's fine. Only a small room. It's only going to cost me $30 a night, which I think is quite good for a very central location like that. And the other thing is, I think they've got an airport taxi pickup service, which is free. And that's another bonus, because they're not that far from the airport. They're closer than Sanur. Sanur was much, I think it was over a half-hour taxi ride, maybe 40 minutes. I can't remember exactly, but you can check out one of my videos if you want to know. But it's closer, and it should only probably cost a little over $10, maybe 10 to 20 max. But if I get it for free, that's even better. One thing I did notice there though, when this guy has been going around his motorbike checking out all the streets in that area, I didn't once see a grab bike. So I know that the taxi mafia in Bali are pretty strong. Reminds me a bit of the taxi mafia up in Chiang Mai in Thailand. And they don't like competition. And certainly there is a Grab app apparently. There might be some others as well. I'll do all my research before I go. And once I get myself a SIM card, I'm going to try the service. Hopefully no one will try running us off the road because we're not taxis if I get on the back of one of these. So we'll see. But I'm feeling more positive about going to Bali after looking at these videos. I think this is the better part of the place. I'd rather be in that part of town. Apart from anything else, because it's on the east coast, you get to see the sunsets. Whereas when I was before, it was sunrises, and there's no way I'd be up that early to watch the sunrises. Also, it'd be nice to have a beach nearby. We don't have to worry about crocs or stingers or God knows what else in the water. So that would be nice. Anyway, that's already booked. I also booked the place in District 7 in Saigon today, and not the same one I stayed at last time. This one claims they've got a balcony. They mentioned balcony a number of times in the writing. I did actually send a message through to confirm they had a balcony, but they haven't got back to me. So it's been about 3 days I've been waiting for that reply. Pretty slack. But it's similar price to what I paid last time, but I think it's a much bigger place. It's more like an apartment rather than just a hotel room. So I think it'd be better value, and the reviews are good. So yeah, I think it'll be a good move. Oh, the other thing I found out about Bali too, there's a few restaurants nearby that are Balinese or Indonesian, and they're very reasonably priced. You can have a meal for a couple of dollars. It's like elsewhere in Southeast Asia, like having street food. Although most of these places have got their own venues. You sit down, probably at an outside table. But sounds very good. So I'm quite positive about that. I think it could work out well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having local nosh. I'm lucky in that I'm more than happy to have Vietnamese food or Balinese food. I don't really crave Western food when I'm overseas, and that definitely saves me money. So I'm gonna have a pizza or something. I'll have it here. I won't have it in Southeast Asia. It's crazy. I mean, there's plenty of choices here for that type of thing. Anyway, that's all good. If my health holds up, everything will go well, and I'll be off on a plane again, which will be something. Oh, I'm not looking forward necessarily to getting the plane from Cairns to Bali. I've had the people I've experienced on the flights in the past I haven't been impressed with. They're a strange breed that fly to Bali, especially from Cairns. That's my experience anyway. But it's only a 4.5 hour flight, so I should be able to endure that in any case. So, and the other thing, of course, with Bali now, you've got to basically set up your visa before you go. Presumably you can pay for it before you go, the $50 Australian, because otherwise you'll have to front up to a visa on arrival table like you do in Vietnam, and I'd rather avoid that. So I'll just fill out the details. So they also want to know you've got 2 shots, you've got to have both of the COVID shots. So I've got that certificate. I couldn't find it on my phone today, but I've got it somewhere anyway, and I'll make sure I've got a copy of that. I might have a hard copy actually, I probably do, from the last trip, but I'll hunt that down. So apart from that, that's really the only hassles I've got to worry about. But I've got to do it twice, because when I come back from Vietnam, even though I'm going to be only staying one night in Bali before I go home, I'm going to have to go through that same rigmarole again and pay another $50, which is a bit of a pain. I don't think the place is flooded out with tourists at this stage, so I think I don't quite understand what's going through the Indonesians' heads. I would have thought they should be trying really hard to get tourists, because the only place that seems to have rebounded is Thailand. And I'm surprised in a way, because I think they've made some dumb decisions, but their tourism does appear to have recovered quite a bit. There's the bus. I'm not going to bother getting it today to pay for that. $1.20. It's not too bad, I guess. Yeah, no gin. I know the clean skin gin's out of stock. First time that's happened. Bit of a blow, so I just got myself a cheap bottle of red. Oh well. Finally got round to planting my pineapple. I'd grown a pineapple, not a large one, but I think I left it too long to actually cut it up and ate it, and ate a bit of it because it was pretty rank actually. It sort of was, I must have left it too long. I left it for a few weeks on the bench. Probably should have cut it up soon after I'd picked it. But I've planted the head of the pineapple into potting mix, a combination of potting mix and cow manure down the backyard, and with any chance it'll propagate, because you only get one damn pineapple per plant, so you need a lot of them. So I actually did see a worm in the garden the other day. It was so wet. It's the first worm I've seen in my garden since I've moved, so I suppose it's a good sign. Also some big birds out the back. I don't know what species they are, but they're quite large. They're not as big as I reckon they'd be bigger than plovers, and they're a grey colour. So, and I actually saw a cat this morning when I woke up. So you don't see many cats in the area. It's very much a dog kingdom where I live. So I might go back to the grog shop tomorrow, because I'll have a ticket, a bus ticket, and I can I can go back there, and fingers crossed they've got the gin in, because I do like my G&Ts. A bit disappointed, but there was another bottle there for about $42. I don't know what it was. I couldn't see what the label was, but I could have got something else. But I think the clean skin gin's actually quite reasonable for the price, and better than other cheap gins. So that's why I go with it. Whew. Even though it's only about 29 degrees, still a bit humid. So I'm looking forward to getting back home. I also checked out number 5 bar, just to make sure they're still operating, and they seem to be. But one thing I did notice is they had a photo featuring with the actual promo for the pub, and there was no Heinz in it. there are a couple of young guys, I'd say in their 30s, and a couple of bar girls with them. So maybe there's been a change in management. The hours don't seem to have changed, and the happy hour seems to be the same. But it wouldn't surprise me if Heinz has finally pulled the plug. I mean, it must be a hard job running a bar for so many years. I mean, he brought in his managers. He had 2 of them, and I guess that takes a bit of the burden off. But when it comes down to it, he's always the last person when it comes to responsibility. So with any business, the buck stops with him. So maybe that's what's happened, or maybe he's got health issues or whatever, or maybe it's exactly the same and it's just a photo and it's misrepresenting what's happening there. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever, and either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.